Do it. Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Hi, everybody. This is a late night Baltimore sports and news. We have Fez here. Hi, Fez.
Hi, everyone.
Okay.
How y'all doing?
Well, doing great. Let me
Best you
ask you,
doing?
Fez. Okay, we got some NFL games coming up. I'm going to ask you. I'm going to say first. I'm going to say this: if the playoffs were held today, I would ask the other head coach of the other team who won the election. No, just kidding. Okay, if the playoffs were held today, the AFC would have Chiefs, Texans, Ravens, Bills, Steelers, Broncos, and Chargers. The NFC would have Vikings, Commanders, Falcons, 49ers, Lions, and Buccaneers.
I still stick to my
All right.
Ravens lines.
Ravens, Lions. Okay. The
My pick.
Washington Commanders are favored. I mean, the Baltimore Ravens are favored by 6.5, and the over/under is 51.5. What do you pick in that game?
Well, I think the Commanders have could have a bright future, but they're not. I don't think they're up for team like the Ravens, being a team like the Ravens right now. But they're a up and coming team. They've played pretty well
You
this
don't think
year.
6 point? You don't think 6.5 is a lot of points?
That's a
It's in
lot of
Baltimore.
points. I would uh I never bet against the Ravens, so I wouldn't bet that spread, but that's a lot of points. It could be closer than that. Probably closer than that.
What do you think? What do you think about the over/under at 51.5?
I'd go with the over.
Okay, I agree with all your things. Okay, I'm going to tell you this: 4 leg that they offer, 4 leg same game parlay. Uh, the odds are very high against, so it's a $10 wager will win you $204. All right, but these four players, anytime in the game, will have to score a touchdown. Derrick Henry, Jaden Daniels, Lamar Jackson, and Brian Robinson. All 4 of those would have to score a touchdown in the game to win. Would you take that at $10 to $204 win?
Well, it's only $10. I always like to gamble a little. I'm a maverick.
All
I
right,
take
fair
that.
enough. Okay, you got the Dolphins. Yeah. Okay, you have Dolphins at Colts. The Colts are 3.5 point
Oh,
favorites, and the
Dolphins don't
over
play
under
the
is
Colts.
42.5.
Dolphins don't play the Colts till next week.
Yeah, oh, huh. Oh, the Dolphins are on a
Dolphins
bye
are
or
on their
something?
Dolphins are on their bye.
Okay, how about Bengals at Browns? Bengals are favored by 4.5.
I'll
I,
take the
I, I would go with.
Bengals. I'll take the Bengals and the points.
Okay, and the last one I have is Jets at Steelers. Steelers favored by 1.5.
I'll take the Steelers and the points.
Okay, just this last fun fact, and then we'll move on. According to NFL research, the first time since at least 1970 in which 3 rookie quarterbacks have started a game and all have a winning record. Those quarterbacks are Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, and Bo Nix. All right, now let us go to this. I heard you're going out canvassing for Harris Walls. Is that correct, Pez?
Yes, I'm going out to canvas, and I've been canvassing in York, Pennsylvania, because Harris needs to win Pennsylvania to win the election, I believe, and I've gotten great feedback for Harris, um, and not very good feedback for Trump. So it's supposed to be it's a district that elected Scott Perry, who's a criminal, part of the January 6th gang. So I I'm very optimistic about Pennsylvania's chances if that's supposed to be a sort of red area. So
Oh
I
yeah, that's
talked to
true.
probably came in contact uh, so far probably with maybe at least a couple hundred people, and what I found is that one house I went to, uh, there were in the family there were 7 people voting for Harris and Walz, so that was pretty good. And I found one man was a Republican, and he was fully for Harris and never vote for Trump. Um, I think a lot of people.
Okay, so when you go on a day of canvassing, what exactly, what are the, uh, what are the steps involved, and what do you do? Besides,
Well,
say you just arrived at York, what do you do?
you go into the Democratic headquarters there, and then you go in, and they'll give you a map of an area to cover and what houses cover, and they're usually giving you uh, they're almost always giving you someone who's a Democrat. You're trying to get people to get out and vote, or independent that could be undecided. So yeah, you're not going in any places with Trump flags. So not that I
So you
saw
just not,
many of those.
so you go to the addresses they give you and you knock on the doors,
Yes.
and then you record what they say.
Oh yeah, you record whether they're strong hairs or they're undecided, or if someone's not home, you just put that down as they're not home. So then it gets later, someone goes and tries to contact people, go to the same house. They haven't been contacted. So you put it
And
all in
then
your phone, and that sends the information to a database so they know where to go in the future and where they don't
and
have
what
to
kind
go.
of, how do people usually respond when they answer the door?
Usually it's pretty positive. A lot of people, but I think a lot of people will, well, not a great number of people, but people who are home will, and you know they're home, they won't answer their door. So we just leave literature then. But people got to remember, never put when you put out literature, never put it in the mailbox, because that's actually that's actually illegal. So people be careful about that, because people have done it and have had to take things out of the mailbox.
Oh, yeah, it's a law, right? Against the law.
Yeah, it's against the law.
Okay, we're gonna look at this piece of video, and you tell me you think of what they're saying.
Okay.
Let's do one. Uh, wait. Hold on now. Ooh, no, ooh, no. Okay, this one, yeah. All right, you see him? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play what he.
Get a little echo, but
Uh, okay.
I can't hear that. Is it started?
Not yet.
Either he
Okay.
did or he didn't. And so one of the habitual liars is telling the truth. We're going to try to sort of unpack it on the bonus show. So that'll be later. Make sure you're subscribed at joinpacman.com. Make sure you are subscribed on the YouTube channel at youtube.com/The David Pakman Show, as we are really at the end here of the 2024 election. 20-something days to go. We'll know the outcome soon, and then we will regroup and figure out what's next.
Our sponsor, 8 Sleep, is the creator of
Let's
the
go back sooner in it. It's here.
Okay.
Polling look like.
All right.
I was speaking here at the conference in Las Vegas with a bunch of other people, Sam Cedar, Farron Cousins, and others, about the polling situation and the indicators we have as to what's going to happen. And I want to outline for you what I see as the biggest red flag right now in the polling. Now, let me make a couple of disclaimers. After this segment, I'm not going to do any more polling stuff today other than just responding to that email at the end of the show. Ultimately, I don't believe that how I talk about how the polling looks has any impact on the eventual results. I think fundamentally, this program is not big enough, and I'm mostly preaching to people who are already planning to vote for Kamala Harris that I don't see that the way I couch things would really impact results. And number 3, I don't think it makes any sense to say we should act more optimistic than the data say because what? Okay, so with that out of the way, here for me is the most concerning polling sign that I see in this race. Real Clear Politics, whatever you think of them, allows you to look not just at what does polling look like today.
I just want to stop it for 1 second. I hate it when people say concerning. It's disconcerting. All right, back to the show.
Yes.
But what did polling look like for Biden Trump on this same day in 2020? And what did polling look like for Clinton Trump on this same day in 2016? And I hate to tell you, it doesn't look particularly good. Right now, Kamala Harris leads by 2 nationally. On this day in 2020, Biden led by 9. And on this day in 2016, Hillary Clinton led by almost 5. If you look at the swing states, I hate that this is what's going on, but you see the exact same sort of a phenomenon. Right now, Trump is leading by 1.4 in Arizona. On this day in 2020, Biden led by almost 3. And that is a very concerning sign. We'll go through these quickly. In Nevada, Harris is winning by 1, but Biden was winning by 6 at this point. Harris is winning by under 1 in Wisconsin, but Biden was leading by 5.5 in 2020. In Michigan, Kamala Harris is leading by 0.5 point, but on this day in 2020, Biden was leading by almost 7 in Michigan. Pennsylvania, Trump is up by a fraction of a point. Biden led by 7 at this point in 2020. In North Carolina, Trump's up 0.5 point. Biden was winning there by almost 2. And in Georgia, Donald Trump is winning by 1.5, and Georgia was a tie at this point in 2020. So what does this mean? If you believe that this is in any way in the bag for Kamala Harris, look at how drastically she is underperforming the 2020 polling on this day in 2020. Now, there is a caveat here. We learned after the fact that 2020 polling significantly underrepresented in some states Donald Trump's level of support. Trump did better than the polling I showed you from 2020. You know, there were states there that Biden was winning by 7, for example, Pennsylvania. Biden did not ultimately win by 7. So last time around, there was a reality that Trump's level of support, he was losing, right? He did lose, he was losing, but his level of support to some degree was sort of undercounted by some of that swing state polling. But the takeaway here is it's really hard to look at the polling and say Kamala Harris is doing better than Biden did, or even as good as Biden did, as well as Biden did. And so my prediction continues to be, I think the most likely scenario, not by a lot, but by a little, the most likely scenario, plurality outcome, is that Harris wins, but by a smaller margin than Biden in 2020. That's already dangerous and scary in terms of what it might do to MAGA, in terms of being able to successfully convince people that it was rigged, stolen, or whatever. I think there is the next likely outcome, a narrow Trump win, And then the third most likely outcome, I believe, is a Kamala Harris blowout. I don't see any real possibility for a Trump blowout. I think if Trump wins, it'll be narrow. I think most likely if Harris wins, it'll be narrow. But there is this possibility of a Kamala Harris sort of landslide blowout victory. So to anyone who thinks that I am being too negative, understand and acknowledge Kamala Harris is doing worse today in every single one of the battleground states and nationally compared to how Biden was doing on this very same day in 2020, and in most of the cases, doing worse than Hillary Clinton was doing on this very same day in 2016, and Hillary Clinton lost. So what do? Well, we stop saying the problem is negativity. We're being realistic here. We're being realistic, and if we get the turnout, if we make sure people understand the stakes, and they make sure they're registered and they go out and vote over the next 20-something days, then Kamala Harris wins. It is not by any means a guaranteed outcome.
Well, nobody
Okay.
thought it would be a guarantee.
I have some thoughts, strong thoughts about this. Okay, can I go ahead?
Well, let me say one thing, and then you go.
Okay.
First of all, in 2020, so in essence, Trump is the incumbent because he was president and Kamala is new. So the incumbent, incumbent administration always does a lot better than people think. Also, in 2020, there was no ground game, so that really messed up the polling. And now this year, the Democrats have ground game. And third, guy gave three different predictions, so he's probably going to be right on one of them. Okay, you.
Okay, first of all, you have to look at the source, and if they're combining all the polls, a poll that is plus or minus less than 3, greater than 3, like even a 3.5, is, I've seen polls over 5 points, plus or minus. Those are not legitimate polls. Those are not good polling. A good poll has a plus or minus 3 or less. So if you're combining all these polls, they're all over the place. But polls have shown that Kamala Harris, and these are like some of the best polls, have shown her ahead. What happened that would change it so much that, what did she do or what happened that would make it any better for Donald Trump? And they're talking about the performance is that pretty much Trump voters are, we know what Trump support will be. We don't know what Kamala Harris is, because the enthusiasm that I see is that a lot of people are going to be voting who haven't voted before, and especially a lot of young people who just registered. Even in Pennsylvania, when Taylor Swift strongly endorsed Kamala Harris, there were 400,000 people went to the site she talked about registering to vote. So the enthusiasm she's brought, and the and what the certain vote, like what the African American vote will be, for her will be very strong, and those are huge in places like Atlanta, and especially in these industrial states where I know that Kamala Harris is going to win Michigan. Okay, you can say it's one. She's ahead by 1. That's because these polls are all over the place. New York Times polls will probably show Donald Trump in a landslide win. These polls are inaccurate, and then you're talking about polls that those polls sure didn't help. Hillary Clinton actually won the election and she didn't even. I could tell you, her ground game was poor compared to what like Obama and compared to what Harris's is. We are this ground game. They have over 300 field offices. They've raised over $1 billion, and they're spending it everywhere. And there's no way in the world. There's nothing to show that she would lose any support. Because people who are going to vote for her are going to vote for her. They're not going to change their mind and vote for Trump. They're so different. It's night and it's like 180-degree, and 360-degree or 720-degree turnaround between the difference between the two. There's no one who says they're going to vote for Kamala Harris is going to vote for Donald Trump.
And here's the other
anyone
thing.
who's undecided is either not going to vote or already decided who they're going to vote for. So, or they just didn't want to say. Maybe they want to get on a panel somewhere or something, or be in a poll. So these polls are all over the place. So you can't go by just adding a bunch of polls, because New York Times polls has always had a Trump like going to win the election so that New York Times can sell their paper online.
The other thing important to note is that I want to see what are the polls people are going to a ballot for other what are the polls they're not counting how many people might say a preference into the presidential, but who are they really going to vote for? Who's going to the polls? It's because of all the Trump ban, abortion bans all over these
there are all these referendums. What about these referendum votes like in not that Kamala Harris can I think because there's too much voter suppression laws that MAGA's done too much to keep people from voting fairly. So, but even like in Florida, you have referendums everywhere though, where people are voting on, women's reproductive rights. People go to the polls,
the same ballot.
People go to vote, and they're motivated by that. Who they're going to vote for? The guy who brags about overturning Roe, and then or they're going to vote for Kamala Harris, who's going to protect their reproductive rights. So who they're going to vote for once they get in there. So
and also in the this year election, in the primaries, Trump drastically underperformed as far as the polling in his primary, where he only got like 78% of the primary.
Well, the polling, if you go by polling,
showed him like 99.
Yeah, if you go by polling, especially like places like the New York Times, those are supposed to be accurate polls, not. But they probably said 99% of MAGA, MAGA Republican in that party love Donald Trump. They're going to vote for him. Well, that didn't happen. She got more than 20% in some. Nikki Haley got more than 20% in some of those primaries. So that's pretty far off.
I know. So, especially with I think that it's just a state of the election cycle. Things are quieted down still, but now everything is going to rev up, and Trump's only going to get worse, and the huge
like
ground
you're
game
saying,
is going to go.
Yeah.
For,
well, like you're saying, is that in 2020, Trump had the advantage of being the incumbent. He's not he's 4 years removed of that, and no one can remember him doing anything good except killing hundreds. Only bad things, like terrible things, like a terrible tax cut, terrible tariffs that nearly gave us into a deep recession, or things like those tariffs and not dealing with COVID, where probably 500,000 people could have been saved, but and people remember those things, and they're going to vote for someone who speaks like the way he does, like giving police officers a purge day. They can do anything they want, or giving police absolute immunity. That should frighten people. And talking about and going by Project 2025 and these states having basically a 6-week abortion ban is a complete restriction on abortion. So, and not having abortion access is every time a Democratic candidate, they win the office, and their term, there's less abortions than there are when there's a Republican in there. So having access doesn't mean it's going to be more people, more women having abortions. And a lot of those Planned Parenthoods, where a lot of poor women, especially, got their health care needs taken care of. So this is just these polls are ridiculous. And then you talk about polling. Wait, Clinton Hillary Clinton was head in all of them, right? What happened? She didn't win.
Yeah. I know.
So what polls?
The polls are just people who
These
want a
polls
job after the
are
election.
like surveys. How many like of the groups that would support Harris? How many of them that she's way ahead are are being part of these polls? I've never been in a poll. So
yeah, and also Republicans had a ground game in 2020.
And she
They had
has
a
a
ground
great
2020.
she has a great ground game, and I could tell she's using all the money that she's using all that money, and she has a ground game. And like you said, look, Trump was the incumbent. He Biden couldn't have a ground game or field offices because of COVID. So and Biden won pretty handily. I mean, by over 7 million votes, and almost a landslide. The same way Trump won, same numbers. He beat Clinton.
And also, you say who voted for? Who's going to add to voting for Trump? Who's going to?
Trump voters are
gonna
out
change their
there
mind?
already. His support. I haven't seen any of those polls giving him any decent poll giving him near 50%, and that he's going to have to beat Kamala in the election. So there you go. You want to see? There you go. There she is.
All right, watch this. Okay, watch this ad.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to be on the move for a minute.
Oh, you hear it?
Oh, fuck. Okay. Good. Go on. I'm gonna have to sign off right now.
Driver's license, registration.
Here you go, sir. How's your day going?
That's your daughter?
All right.
Sure is.
Abigail, right?
Come in.
How do you know her?
Were you about 8 weeks pregnant? So you've been spotting recently. You've had any cramps or nausea?
That's personal.
You been taking your prenatal vitamins?
Excuse me?
Are you ticketing me for something?
Where are you heading, Abigail?
To go see my older sister, Natalie.
Well, that's strange. 'Cause it says here that Natalie's at a concert in Dallas. and your navigation is set to a women's health clinic in one of those abortion states.
We have the right to travel.
Not anymore. Step out of the car.
Please, officer.
Both of you out now. You, sir, are under arrest for crossing state lines to obtain an abortion for a minor under your care. And you, young lady, well, you're under arrest for evading motherhood.
All right. That's pretty, puts it all on. Okay. And now let's see, what we can do. Let's look at something else. Right. Here we go. See this one.
I want to send a special welcome to those watching us from the Sunshine State, where more than 3 million residents are without power after what they've been calling a once-in-a-thousand-year event. Unfortunately, I have a feeling it's going to be happening more than once every 1,000 years. You can see the city of St. Petersburg got 18 inches of rain. They're flooding the water. Kamala Harris lately. We've reached the point of the campaign where her emails are making me feel like I'm going through a breakup. Good morning. Checking in. Coffee? It stinks big time. Please read, don't delete. You deserve an explanation. The explanation I want is how this election could possibly be so close. The polls say it is a toss-up. It might ultimately come down to which candidate can deliver a new RV to Clarence Thomas first. The most important battleground state is Pennsylvania. President Obama headlined a rally in Pittsburgh tonight. Yesterday, Trump was in Reading, Pennsylvania, where Nurse Fatchett is going all in on these bogus stories about forced gender swaps.
Your child goes to school and they take your child. It was a he and comes back a she. And they do it. And they do it.
You can go back on.
And often without parental consent. Can you even believe we're saying this?
No, we can't believe that even you are saying this. Because it isn't actually happening. No school has ever changed a boy into a girl. We're supposed to believe the same schools that make you sign a permission slip for your kids to go to the planetarium are taking them for sex change operations. This is not a thing. This is not a problem. We have real problems. Like the fact that the Republican nominee for president is letting gas on stage.
From commerce to labor to FEMA.
Did you hear that? Listen closely. Play it. Listen right in the middle.
From commerce to labor to FEMA.
That's our founding father right there. That's.
All right. Now, you coming back in?
Bez is back.
Right there you are. That was Jimmy
Bez is
Kimmel.
back. Had a little technical difficulty.
All right.
It was. A kitty cat needed attention. Yes.
That was Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel. I like Jimmy Kimmel. A strong Harris supporter. Harris Walls. Fully endorses.
Who are your favorite political comics?
I like Seth Meyers. I like as far as comedy, I like Seth Meyers and I like Jimmy Kimmel. Stephen Colbert, not so much. It's just too much with Trump, and the other things are just too serious. I like how Jimmy Kimmel reacts to what Donald Trump says about him, and I think Jimmy Kimmel is generally a nice person who has put his money where his mouth is.
Me
as far
and my,
as
my
giving the calls.
two buddies,
Seth
Tyler
Meyers, I
and
really
Brett.
like Myers is good on his because he does a separate.
Wait. All right, I got you here. All right, you here? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna cut in a live event. It's a court case. Here we go.
Okay.
So it's kind of a somber thing. Let's see if you.
I can wait.
It really, above all else, was just disappointing.
And how was it disappointing?
Well, the VIP tickets, which we had ordered, they were supposed to come with front viewing.
Objection out of relevance.
We're trying to establish, Your Honor, the experience at the festival because the defendant has said that it was one of the top music festivals, but there were a number of things that were not available.
I'll allow the questioning, but let's make sure we wrap it up.
Okay. Go ahead, Jerry.
Well, the VIP tickets, they were.
All right. We'll cut away from that.
Okay. That was interesting. Was that court TV?
See what's happening there.
That was an interesting case.
Hold on. See. See. Obama. Obama speech.
Obama, great orator, great speaker.
See some of this. Oh wait, okay.
I love the people of Pittsburgh. I love the food in Pittsburgh. I don't usually do this, but this is a little bit of a Yelp rating. Just had some of Pamela's pancakes.
Yeah.
I first had those like 10, 15 years ago when I was running. And I was all like, I need some of those pancakes this time out. And even though I'm from Chicago, some of you may know, when I was a kid, I was a Steelers fan. So, and watching the Steelers this season, it seems I'm not the only guy from Chicago who likes being in Pittsburgh. Because so far, Justin Fields is doing pretty good. Now, before we get started, we have a little bit of work to do here. All right, so I want everybody to be, just settle in. We got some work to do. Before we get started, I did want to say that we are, heartbroken about the loss of life in Florida, North Carolina, states across the Southwest. We are thinking about people, families whose lives have been upended by the storms over the last couple of weeks. I could not be more grateful for the first responders and FEMA professionals who have put themselves in harm's way to try and help. It's times like this when you realize having honest, competent leadership in government really matters. It makes a difference. And today I'm asking you to vote for some of those leaders. including some folks we need working with your outstanding governor, who you just heard from, Governor Josh Shapiro. We need them in Harrisburg. So we need you to vote for your next Auditor General, Malcolm Kenyatta. Your next Attorney General, Eugene DePascale. Your next State Treasurer, Eric McClellan. And my buddy, your outstanding United States Senator Bob Casey.
Yeah.
Now here in Pennsylvania, there are three ways to vote.
You
can vote early,
he can work
in person at the county election office, or at a satellite office. You can also vote by mail. And if you need to figure out how to do that, just go to iwillvote.com PA.
Well,
Find a place
very
to
much.
vote early or to request a ballot. And of
That's
course,
what we told a lot of people
vote at your
to
polling
do.
place on election day,
Give them
November
that
5th.
information.
But if you're at this rally, let's face it, you're probably voting unless you are 12. So you also have to help your friends and family make a plan to vote. And even if you're 12, you can do that. Talk to your mom and dad and aunts and uncles, because together we have a chance to choose a new generation of leadership in this country and start building a better and stronger and fairer and more hopeful America. Now, you've already heard tonight, this election is going to be tight because there are a lot of Americans who are still struggling out there. They're still striving to make life better for themselves, for their families, and for their kids.
Yeah.
And let's face it, as a country, we've been through a lot these last few years. We had a historic pandemic wreaking havoc on communities and businesses. Disruptions from the pandemic then caused prices to spike, and that put a strain on family budgets. And in many ways, it's felt like the aspirations of working people have taken a back seat to the priorities of the rich and the powerful. So I get it, why people are looking to shake things up. I mean, I am the hopey changey guy. So I understand people feeling frustrated and feeling we can do better. What I cannot understand is why anybody would think that Donald Trump will shake things up in a way that is good for you, Pennsylvania. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Well, that's all he had to say.
That's all.
Hey, all right. That's good. Okay, watch.
That
Now,
says
here's
it
something
all.
cool.
What are we listening to?
All
No
right,
clip?
here's another clip. This will be our last clip of the day.
Okay.
It is someone we know and someone we really like.
Oh, okay.
Okay, hold on. Wait.
I'm holding on.
Go. Go down here. What was the score of the game last night, Fez?
The final score was the San Francisco 49ers 36, the Seattle Seahawks 24.
I guess the Niners are back.
Yeah, 500.
All right. Let's see. Let's watch this one. Yeah. Here we go. Favorite guy. With the buffer zone. Buffer zone.
President Biden says the federal government is ready to help victims of Hurricane Milton. Biden told Florida residents, "We've got your back. He also slammed what he called the reckless and irresponsible spread of misinformation and lies about the government's storm response. Willie James Inman has the latest from the White House.
Former President Trump has led this onslaught of lies.
Speaking from the White House Wednesday night, President Biden blasted misinformation being spread by former President Donald Trump.
They're saying that money needed for these crises are being diverted to migrants. What the heck are they talking about? Stop it. It's outrageous. It's just not true.
But on the campaign trail in Pennsylvania, Trump continued to spread the false claim that FEMA is diverting disaster relief funds to migrants.
They say they had no money. You know where they gave the money? To illegal immigrants coming in.
Trump's running mate, J.D. Vance, echoed the same false narrative.
Unfortunately, under Kamala Harris's leadership, you've got FEMA, which is doing resettlement and relocation for illegal immigration. FEMA should take care of American citizens when a disaster strikes.
FEMA has repeatedly challenged those claims.
Absolutely false. There has been no money at all taken from the Disaster Relief Fund to support anything other than our ability to help people.
Biden also singled out Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene from Georgia after a series of posts on X, and specifically one last week, saying that yes, they can control the weather.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, the congresswoman from Georgia, is now saying the federal government is literally controlling the weather. We're controlling the weather. It's beyond ridiculous. It's so stupid. It's got to stop.
And as Hurricane Milton approached Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis had this warning about misinformation.
You know, we live in an era where if you put out crap online, you can get a lot of people to share it and you can monetize that. That's just the way it is.
The White House says it has dispatched thousands of personnel, 20 million meals, 40 million liters of water, and pre-positioned Pentagon assets to help with search and rescue efforts. And that's on top of the resources already deployed to the region in response to Hurricane Helene. Willie James Inman, CBS News, the White House.
Well, you know, it's even DeSantis had to chime in because when they make those claims like that, it makes him look bad too. That he's not getting aid to people who are in trouble, and it makes him look really bad.
Yeah, it's weird that
because everything is perception for.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. Hold on now. Anything else you want to say? As
yeah, I'm saying vote, because you're voting for a make your voice heard, that you're voting for democracy, even if it's a small d, in the sense of that you don't think society is fair or things like that, and it's not going to get, and it's going to be the opposite of that. At least we're going towards, we have people like Kamala Harris and Tim Walz who want things to be better for working people. And then you have the opposite on the other end, where they just spread lies and they'll say anything, which is a tool that fascists use. So we can't go back. So we need to go forward. And the only way forward is Harrison Walz. That's my message.
Right.
Vote like your life depends on it, because it does.
I vote for a person who's more Putin than it is for the United States. So I have one last thing I want to share with people. If you can't get out there and do a lot of vote or a lot of any kind of much canvassing. Also, don't forget about the Senate election in Maryland. Don't think that blue state is going to go. You got to go out there. Hogan is slippery sometimes.
Yeah, Hogan has this thing of perception of, but those things are accurate where they have those ads for Angela also Brooks. I think it's a pact though, but that he wouldn't release money that was for abortion access, and that Westmore had to. And don't buy into that he's going to be some sort of independent Republican, because he won't. He'll be a MAGA Republican. So watch out for that.
Because his idea is that if he gets to be senator, he only has to be MAGA for 4 years, and then he can. He thinks that 2 more years after that will somehow get him out of it. But you can't ever give it. Then they'll never be able to get.
If he was really independent, he
Can't
would have
lose the
run.
Senate.
If he was really independent, he would have run as independent and caucus with the Democrats. But he was really anti-Trump. But he ran as Republican. There's no independent Republicans.
Yeah, if he would have claimed independence, but the promise of vote with Democrats, he would have won. He'd be way ahead. People would give him the benefit of the doubt.
They might have the Democrats, like in the way they did in Arizona, Nebraska, where Dan Osborne is running and is going to caucus with the Democrats. They would believe him and might not even run a candidate and win a landslide in the election. So, but he's not running as an independent, so he's not going to be independent Republican because it's a MAGA party.
Before we go, here's a screenshot of Act Blue. If you can't canvass anything, you can donate. The best site to donate.
Yeah, even though you can give $5, $10, that's something, and you'll feel good about it. So, doesn't have to be much, but it all adds up anyway.
All right.
So thank you, everyone.
Like and subscribe, everybody.
Appreciate
we'll get more sports
you.
later today or this evening or sometime.
Appreciate the support, and sorry to President Obama, our great former president. We're Ravens here, so as you can tell, so
yeah,
no Steelers, Ravens.
I guess. I guess President Obama switched to a Bears fan later.
Yeah, he's probably a Steelers fan because the Steelers are very popular teams. Like
there's a
lot of Steelers, Cowboy. Yeah.
It's not too many pro teams in Hawaii or whatever.
Yeah, it's
all
true.
right. Well, we'll see y'all later, and stay strong, everybody.
Okay.
And we'll talk to
Thank
y'all
you.
later.
Like and subscribe.
Goodbye.
Hit the notifications.
Good.
Thank you.
Good evening.